Raped? Extortionists? Death threats? Me? Which part? Hey guys, AshFiMon here, and a few months ago I found out that one of my very old photos has circulated online through some Jamaican blog media sites, accusing me of receiving death threats in the alleged rape case against Jamaican entertainer Clifton Bailey, otherwise known as Capleton or King Shango. With a telling headline and my photo being at the forefront of it all, perception is reality and perception is projection. There's a quote, not sure who it's by, but it reads, when truth is blurred by lies and misinformation, perception becomes reality and all is lost. And unfortunately, lies can become truth if we let them. So just to give you a little backstory, it's been alleged that Capleton hired a hairdresser to come to his hotel in Kingston, Jamaica to groom his hair. This was alleged to happen about the ending of April. Early part of May, the media stories broke out, and here we are today. Currently, his case is still going on, so we don't know much information about what's happening, if there's a trial or whatnot. But the case, as I said, is still going on. So let me backtrack to the day I actually found out that my identity has been compromised. So I got a text from an industry acquaintance, and I opened WhatsApp, and it read, hey, you need to check this out, with a link. So because I could see the link preview, I see my photo with the headlines, Capleton rape victim claims she's getting death threats. What? I'm like, oh my gosh, am I seeing this correctly? Am I dreaming? So I'm like mid-key freaking out because I'm like, this is real. And never in a million years would I have thought, even in the smallest of ways, that my photo would have been used online in any kind of mix-up and blend situation. Because you hear a lot of times about these blogs and media sites that post things about these celebrities and public figures that aren't true, but never would I have thought I would have been involved in some kind of way. I opened the link, and I read the article in its entirety. My name isn't in it, but my photo is the main feature photo. So that means anytime this link is being shared online, on any social media site, you're gonna see that preview, that picture with that headline. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. So I get the acquaintance on the phone, and she literally just told me she was just Googling more information about the case, and it came right up. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So prior to this, we both knew and heard about the alleged rape case before my photo was being circulated online. So at the end of the article, there's the social shares buttons, and I see it's been shared on Facebook a numerous of times. I haven't heard of this platform before. Before this, the platform is called Urban Islands, and that's islands with a Z at the end. So I go to the Facebook page, and to my surprise, I see a handful of my Facebook friends that actually like and follow the page. So I'm like, okay. And then I see like over 200 and something thousand people that actually like and follow the page as well. So clearly this is a site that, people get their information and their news from. So I was like, wow, that means this is probably a circulated. I see on their Facebook, they shared the link to where my photo with the headline, and there was numerous comments. There were numerous amount of shares. I probably seen about 40 something shares, and that's just probably from what I can see, because remember, everybody's Facebook settings might be set to private and not necessarily public. So I may not even be able to see any and everywhere that it's been reshared to on Facebook. There were comments on there that says, oh, you release her picture, you can release her name. They wanted to know, they mentioned that, the background of the picture doesn't look like a hotel, so a long time this thing has been going on. They also mentioned by putting up her picture, you're making her a target for other Rastas. Someone else said, oh, she a big woman then, because it was alleged at one point that they thought the person might have been underage. I think that part has been cleared up. So I was like, oh my gosh. And people in the comments are talking about me because that's the picture they see associated with the title and so far with this case. So out of all those comments, there was probably a few, one or two, that was like, that's not her. So shout out to those people that probably realized, all right, this is not true, this is clickbait, or maybe they even had further intel on the situation than the rest of us do. So fast forward some maybe days later or like a week, I'm on YouTube watching something completely unrelated, maybe like a tutorial of some sort. And, YouTube shows you at the side of what you're watching current videos or similar videos that you might want to watch based on what you are currently watching or based on what you might be interested in based on things you watched in the past. So here I go. I see my photo once again on YouTube now. And I'm like, are we kidding me? So same photo with the headline, but a different headline now. It says, listen to the voice notes between Capleton and the rape victim. I was like, oh snap, this is really circulating now, like on YouTube. So I click on the video and there is no voice notes. It's just a video of a guy named Bridgerton talking and attesting to Capleton's character. And that video was about like 29 minutes and some change. So another clickbait. Wrong photo, wrong title, no voice notes, wrong content. Right now, last I've checked, that video had 184,000 views. And there was a comment on there that says she needs to hide herself. So clearly thousands of people are seeing this. That's just on YouTube, and I'm sure thousands of people have seen it through Facebook or some other social media site. And I'm like, okay, this is really getting around. And the unfortunate thing about it is that when you Google Capleton rape victim in Google and go to Google Images, my photo is the first thing that pops up. Can you believe that? So just a little bit of context behind the photo. That photo is about 6 years, close to 7 years old. It was taken in Tampa, Florida, when I was going to the University of South Florida working on my degree in communications. And that was taken about the ending of January of 2012. So it's a very old photo. And that was actually at the location called Super D Bar and Grill. If you guys are familiar with Tampa or know the area, some people back then may have known it as Tropics or either or. And that's where that photo was taken. And that location, Super D's, was very known to bring artists and entertainers to come perform and have appearances. Not at this time, not at the same night that I've taken that picture, but I've met Tony Curtis there. I've met Gramps Morgan of Morgan Heritage there. And I've also met Octane there. Of course, not the same night at just different times of me living in Tampa. So again, this is a location that positioned itself in the community to really be for the culture and bring these entertainers to come perform and have appearances and so on. So that's where the picture was taken. A very old photo that was originally and still is on my website and on my social media pages, which is AshFiMon.com. And clearly, if this site took my photo from there, they can clearly see I have other things going on. And I've met tons of other people based on the type of jobs that I've done. And I would say this, because I did get a few people ask me in the past. The picture does look cozy. I get it. A lot of people thought initially when I posted the picture that, a long time ago, that Capleton was touching my breast. No, he was not. I have a very short torso and I'm top heavy. So his hand, if anything, was more on grazing the shirt of my midsection. His hands were not on my breasts. I understand the picture does look cozy, and I can understand people's opinions in regards to that, but absolutely not. That picture was just that picture, was nothing more and nothing less. So I don't understand why they would use my photo. Nowhere on my social media does it look like I'm a hairdresser. I wasn't even in Jamaica nowhere near around that time. So that's just a little bit of context for you for the picture. And the crazy thing is that I met Capleton again 2 years ago in 2016 at Night Runnaz Music Festival in Miami, and that's this picture. So both pictures are on my website and my social media pages, but they're using the really old photo, and I don't know why. First of all, I don't even know why they're using my picture to begin with. I don't know if it's just they just grabbed the picture or a lack of judgment, or they're really using the picture to kind of aid and abet in, whatever agenda that they're trying to bring across. So that was the context of the picture. I've had relatives, I'd had cousins in Jamaica, Florida, and Canada call or text me and told me my photo is being used online. Luckily, at the time, I knew already, but imagining like my cousins calling me without me telling them, yo, this is being used for the first time, they seen this on their own in some capacity. So if few of my cousins have seen it, God knows maybe there's been other people that I know of that probably have seen it and probably haven't told me. And I'm like, it's really, really insane. And I was kind of surprised, but not surprised. But then again, it's the internet. The beauty about the internet is that it really connects us anywhere in the world that we are. And it really, brings us all together. So of course, once you have internet access anywhere you are, if you buck up on a link, you buck up on it and you see it. And I was just like, the internet is so powerful. And you know what? It's unfortunate that these blog sites, and it's not all of you guys, because we know some of you guys do great work and you use your platform for a great cause. But unfortunately, there are some that are seedy and, that don't put out the right information. My thing is this: we always been told, don't believe everything you read, see, or hear online, but yet some of us are so quick to see a photo or headline and we just run off the mill and banter online. And it's like, who gives you the right to comment negative stuff about people online? Like, we see things on our timeline all the time. We can scroll past it if you don't like it. You can like it if you do. If you want to comment something positive, then by all means. But all the negativity is just like, I feel like people just feel super entitled to post their opinion as if anybody asked. You're not a commentator, and a lot of times it's more defaming to someone than it is. And unfortunately, while the internet is still relatively new, if people with the governing laws and government, if there were laws and repercussions to people's actions that they do online, I'm sure people would think twice about posting negative things if there was some type of consequences that will go on about it, because this is defaming my identity and my character. Like, everything is just online, but the thing about it, it's online for right now, but you don't know what people could be capable of and try to come to you in person. So I really urge us to be very careful with what we consume. And if you consume it, just kind of take a step back and see, like, hey, is this true? Is it not? And the more we continue to share things and comment and stuff like that, especially on things that is not true or you're unsure of, you are aiding and abetting in that agenda, in case you didn't know. So fast forward a little bit of time, I end up Google searching my image. It didn't cross me to do it initially, which I knew about Google searching, but I eventually Google searched it, and I found out that my picture was used and reshared on multiple other sites besides Urban Islands. So this is the list of all the places that is being reshared, because ultimately all these places need to be called out. Of course, we have Urban Islands with a Z, Newsbug Online, Jam Media One, Radio Dubplate, Dancehall Reggae Fever. On YouTube, you have the Dancehall King subscriber, and we have a YouTube subscriber named News One. All of those places was where I found my photo being used online just by Google searching the image. And just a pro tip, in case you guys didn't know that, you can Google search images and see where else this image comes up on Google if you just search through Google Images. And I found out my photo with the same headline, Capleton rape victim claims she's getting death threats, was being used online in other places. And it's unfortunate. So while we all need to take a look at ourselves and just be cautious in what we share, more importantly, all the sites that are continuing to have this agenda of posting negative information, they do need to be called out. Guys, with everything going on in this current climate, the Time's Up, the Me Too movement, and while those things are not new, but it's being brought more to the forefront of it all. It's unfortunate, though, because these things are happening. Rape is not something to take lightly at all. It's not. And the fact that these headlines are saying, I'm receiving death threats. So then obviously, if the rape victim is receiving death threats, then you think I'm the rape victim. And then Capleton was alleging that this person has been extorting him for money. So now I'm the one that's an extortionist. I'm not the one, but that's how it's being perceived online because it's my photo that's being circulated in other places. Nobody else's photo is being used, and nobody else's photo should be used. You know what I mean? People don't really realize that in rape cases, more times than none, the victim's name and identity is not to be released to the public. So if people had that idea in the back of their head, they would know that what they see is not true. I mean, unless they felt like, oh, snap, this site got the exclusive of the person and, stuff like that. But when you just think of the severity, like people who really have been sexually assaulted, and just knowing all that comes with rape. I'm just saying in general, not necessarily with this case. It's not something to take lightly. It really isn't. And the fact that, oh dear, the fact that you use an innocent person's photo with that headline, what did you think was going to happen? I don't even live in Jamaica. Like, I'm just really curious to know, why would they use it? Do they really think this way? Or they just grab the picture to grab a picture? Like, nowhere about me it adds up. I don't live in Jamaica. I wasn't even in Jamaica at the time when this was alleged to happen. At that time, the last time I was in Jamaica was probably last year, September, when I went to bury my grandmother. I'm not even a hairdresser. And from my social media pages where you grab my photo from or my website, you can see those things. And whatever I just said can back that up. So it's unfortunate, though, because when you start putting innocent people who literally has nothing to do with it in the mix of something like this, you don't know what people are capable of. People might see me out on the street or, and decide, like my cousin told me, to throw acid on me. Like, what? And I'm like, you just never know, because everybody is not clean-hearted. There's a lot of bad-minded people out there, and it's really unfortunate. But, it's been a couple months. Well, more than a couple. It's been some months, since I, found out that my photo was being used online. And me sitting back and thinking about it, it's, I don't know, they say things happen for a reason. I don't know why it happened, but it's just still so baffling to me that my photo really is out there online with something as serious as this. And then the fact that this photo is so old, it's not like it's recent or anything where you think it can kind of piece together. The photo is so old. It's unfortunate. I feel, though, like if you're going to position yourself as a media outlet, because blogs are not like the traditional media outlets. The traditional media outlets are like the radio, the TV, the newspaper, the magazines, but blogs are seen as online new media. And if you're going to position yourself in that game, in that category, I feel like you need to have some journalistic integrity. If you're going to be out here doing interviews and talking about current events and news stories and, other stories, I feel like you need to fact check some of the things that you share and don't have innocent people like myself who has nothing to do with situations involved in stuff like this. Last I checked, those pictures were still up. And you know what they say about the internet. Once it's on the internet, it's hard to get off and things of that nature. And it's just really unfortunate, like that these things, eventually happen to me. But I never would have thought it. I never would have imagined, my photo being used online, because I'm not a celebrity and I'm an average person, and not even the smallest little ways my identity has been compromised. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you've ever been catfished, let me know. And if you have any tips or advice for me, I would love to hear it. Thank you guys for listening and have a great day.